welcome. Today I'm covering up my art journal that I made in a previous video, and if you recall, I left it as a file folder just uncovered. I was hoping to get it all in one video, but it just took over an hour to do it, so it's not going to happen. So I'll get most of it done today, at least the main parts of it. And I start with some mixed media paper. This is Strathmore mixed media paper. I cut it 7 by 7, which will overlap the page, which was 6.5 by 6.5. And that's my inspiration piece. If I like a little certain color combination, I'll make an inspiration piece, and then I can look at it and see my colors that I used before. I'm going to be using some distress inks, and I start out by using fossilized amber. It's a nice amber color, and my goal here is not to cover, but to just get a lot of coverage, but not total coverage. And I just put it on my glass plate and added water, and I just start slapping my page down on that plate. One time didn't do enough, so I did the fossilized amber a second time, added my water. I've got other colors to add, so I want to make sure I leave spaces for that, and it's okay if they overlap. Okay, I dried that, and now it's time for spiced marmalade. If you don't dry, you'll just get mud and it won't look pretty. So make sure you dry it real good. And now I go back in, same technique, just with the spiced marmalade. It adds a little more oranginess to it, which I like. Okay, now I dried that really well, and now for my focal color, this is what I really want to highlight, and it's pickled raspberry. One of my favorites. So I just start adding that in, and I want this to be a dominant color, so I'm gonna be adding this one more than once. But I thought my pink was getting a little orange, so I did clean my plate and started fresh. I don't remember if I do it one more time. Yep, I do. I wanted to get a lot of that pink on there. Okay, so I dry that really good. And my last layer, I use Vintage Photo, but I'm doing it differently. I'm putting the distress ink directly onto a stencil. This stencil is just ovals that I cut on my Cricut. You can use any stencil, but once you get the distress ink on there, you spray it so it's pretty wet, and then you just lay it, and you'll get the reverse of the ovals. You got to put a good bit of water on it so that it takes the color. You see it better after it starts to dry. And I think I end up doing that 3 times. I just love that reverse effect it gives. Okay, now you got to dry that really good. And I wanted to show you the other one I already have completed. So now I got the front and back sides. Now I'll just have to decide which one will be the front of my journal and which will be the back. So I've got my art journal here, and remember it was really glossy and thick, and I just wanted to make sure that it would adhere well. So I just kind of roughed it up and gave it a little tooth for the glue to stick to. And once I roughed it up just a bit, I just made sure all the little bits and pieces that I had sanded were off. And again, I'm going to tape off the spine, but we've already taped off the inside of the spine when we were doing the assembly. Now I want to tape off the outer spine, and I'm using the same tape. It's kind of like a packing tape, but it's got these little threads in it. And I have to use two because it's just not wide enough to go around at once. Once I have it on, I just trim off the edge. And now I'm ready to put my covers on. So I've decided on that one there for the front. I just got to decide which way I want to put it. And I get some liquid glue, and I think this is called Barely Art or Barely something. I think I show it to you later. And then I use my acrylic spreader there. Silicone, not acrylic, silicone spreader. Get it on nice and thick and secure it on. Now I wish I would have covered my pages because I did get some glue on the inside, so just think about that when you're gluing. There, I showed you my glue. Now I'm doing the back side. Just checking to see which side was the top. And securing my back. I don't have to be really concerned about how close it is to the spine because I'm going to cover the spine with something else. The only thing I'm really making sure is I'm overlapping on the other three edges. Just pressing it down to make sure I got a good grip. And then I'm going to let it dry for a bit. Okay, I've let it dry and still saw a dab of glue there. And I'm going to trim the cover pieces to the folder. And I think before I come back on the next one, I've also trimmed the folder pieces, not the black insert pieces, but the folder, 1/4 of an inch on each side. I just felt like it was too wide for the black pages. So I think when you come back, you'll notice that it's a little bit trimmed. Okay, there goes all the top and the bottom, the front and the back's all secured. And I'm going to finish the rest in the next video. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Be sure to come back for how I decorate it and put the spine on. And have a great day. Give me a subscribe and a thumbs up. Have a great day.